Hi, welcome. What in the world and what in the world? It's a crazy month happening again in June. Everything is kicking off in the UK at the moment. And we're back for another What in the World exclusive here on YouTube, on Talks Tasha. And we're here with Dean, well, you're that way down there.
Okay.
With my co-host here, Dean. Dean, it's so good to see you. We're back again for another month. We smashed it again last month. So, Dean, the events that's been taking place with Henry Novick, what can we say, eh? What can we say about the situation with that?
Crazy, I think, is one word that comes to mind. Insane. But one word sticks out the most, and I would say is injustice.
I'm going to show a clip of the father who came out of the court. Just a little bit of it anyway.
Novick. I'm Henry Novick's father. To my left is my daughter, Olivia Novick, Henry's older sister. And to her left is Lucy Ross, Henry Novick's mother. The jury confirmed what we've always known. Henry's life was taken from him unlawfully, violently, and without justification. Henry was 18 years old. He was kind, ambitious, loved, and full of promise. He had his whole life ahead of him, a degree to finish, places to see, and a future to build. That future was stolen from him, and no verdict or sentence will ever give it back. Henry did nothing wrong. He was one of the kindest, friendliest, and most inclusive people you could ever hope to meet. He was amazing in every way. On the 3rd of December last year, Henry was walking home from a night out with his university football teammates when he encountered Vikram Digwa, a man openly carrying a large knife on the streets of Britain. That knife was used to take Henry's life.
Just gut-wrenchingly sad.
I think the relatives of him should be complimented for their composure. That's number one. Because I know I wouldn't be able to hold it together that much if that was my son.
It's the footage and the images that we saw, wasn't it, of the arrest. The whole thing was just so wrong in so many levels. And to accuse him of being racist as well, to think you're going to get away with it saying that, you know.
Yeah.
It's
I think
just
at this
barbaric.
point it's a blanket approach to most things. It's like, well, it's, you know, I think a lot of people from one side or the other in our society think, well, hey, if I play the race card, I can get out of jail free card on this. You know, I'll play the Monopoly game here and I'll win. And I don't think that can work anymore. If you honestly think that that's acceptable in society, it's not. And I don't know where we've gone wrong, but it's clearly gone terribly, terribly wrong.
So, yeah, I'm going to now play the phone call. And this is a snippet of the phone call that he did.
Racially by some white person.
Right, okay. Whereabouts are you?
We're on Belmont Road.
Just out in the street, are you?
Sorry?
You're just in the street?
Yeah, literally. I just parked up my car to come home and he's attacked my brother.
You're talking about verbally or physically?
No, he physically attacked my brother. We're Sikhs, we wear turban and he's just attacked my brother.
Have any weapons been involved?
No.
Okay,
Leave him 1 second. I'm calling the police. Leave him. We'll restrain him, please. Sorry? Sorry, what was that?
Right, okay. Is that person still there?
Yeah, we're restraining him right now because he's just attacked my brother and took my brother's turban off.
Hold on.
Can we have someone out here, please? ASAP.
Yeah, you can. Tell me a number you're outside of, can you?
No, so Belmont Road down the police station. Pardon?
Okay, I've got you. Bear with me.
Okay. And he's also recorded some as well on his phone. So can we please have the police out here urgently?
Listen. I'll get someone there straight away. It's not going to delay anything now. Just bear with me. I need some details, okay? So just answer some questions.
He's verbally attacked my brother racially. He's attacked my brother and took his turban off. Then he's recorded it on his phone thinking he was going to do something. So I need someone here ASAP, please. We're restraining him, so I'm not letting him. I can't let him go until this gets sorted. I'm not being racially attacked and letting this get away with it.
Okay, listen. What's your name?
Gurpreet Digwa.
And your date of birth?
Uniform.
Okay, I've got you on the system.
Dean, what is going on? Could you hear that? And the thing is, Dean, right? There is no sense of urgency to get the boy an ambulance, or there's just no sort of any care for this poor boy that's wounded. There's nothing. It's cold.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I suppose that's to be expected from someone who has such a bravado that they could commit a crime and then ring up for a police or ambulance or whatever. Well, it's police actually, wasn't it? And pretend that they're the victim. And they know that they can get away with it purely on the fact that if you play the racial card, well, hey, odds are in your favor. Wrong on so many levels. He played the system very well, knowing that it was to his advantage.
It's the line, isn't it, Dean? It's just the whole line of it all. And can you see why sort of the nation and people got into an uproar with this, got sort of angry about this?
Oh, absolutely.
Because they went and protested along that road. There was riots.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it any wonder? How can that be acceptable? It's not, is it? It's not okay. Shouldn't happen. In a civilized society in this day and age, how can something like that happen and seem okay? There's nothing okay about that.
It's just wrong. There's no justice here. So when the people go out and protest, this is another thing that I saw and I witnessed. When people go out and protest, it's just like we will use the full force of the law, or you're far right, or they're racist. That sort of comes against people, white people, you guys. It's like that you've got to battle against that as well, because you can't sort of speak up about justice.
Exactly. I mean, that man decided to use the racial card to try to warrant the idea that it's okay to murder someone. If that mentality carries on over to any other part of society, which I'm sure it does with many people, that's not going to end well. It reminds me of communist China. Or communist Russia.
I remember back in 2020, okay? I remember back in 2020 with the whole George Floyd thing, okay? And I was sitting there thinking about and thinking, so George Floyd said the exact same thing as Henry, I can't breathe. Yep. He did.
Literally
Henry
word for
said
word.
the exact same thing. But London was burning down. There was literally riots on the streets. There was people putting their things on Facebook, the black squares, beat Black Lives Matter, for the cause, the injustice of a murder that's happened worldwide. But when it came to Henry, it was just like, well, where was all the squares for him? Where was all that I can't breathe? It seems what I'm getting from this, and I looked this up sort of biblically, it's back to that. I think it's in Proverbs where it says unbalanced scales.
Despises unbalanced scales.
He despises unbalanced scales. You've got to have justice and you've got to have fairness. But it just seems like the scales tipped one way.
Yeah.
But it's not balanced right. So where's all that energy? Where's all that steam for this poor young Henry?
It's the wrong level. Paul the Apostle, the only time I know Paul the Apostle prophesied in 2 Timothy, where he said that in the last days will come perilous times where people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of evil. They'll call evil good and good evil. They'll be selfish and prideful and not understanding. And they won't want to be corrected in righteousness, but instead have a violent anger kind of thing. That's kind of the gist of it, really, that he was getting at. And I think we can see that here today. Everything like that. The fact that we're here today speaking about it, and the fact that there are political parties that have come up and actually gained power to some degree in this nation, which happen to align more with our wavelength, if you will, or our thought process on everything tells you that actually society has changed like that, and at least in that respect. But it hasn't changed on the level that it needs to, where it's a governmental level with actual real power and clout behind it to actually make a difference yet. That's the thing. Once that can happen, then everything is subject to change. But until then, no, I think it will be same old, same old. And that's the problem. We're told and conditioned by our great, glorious leaders to sit down, shut up, and accept it. But that's not okay anymore. Saying that, I think I've been thinking about that today, actually, along the lines of, I think we're conditioned, almost like being brainwashed in a way, from a young childhood to act a certain way, to think a certain way, and respond a certain way. And we're told, don't shake the boat, don't rattle any cages. But what if they need to be rattled? What if the boat needs to be shaken? When is enough enough? If we're always told to sit down, shut up, and do nothing with our lives and just plod on with it, nothing will ever change. From nothing, nothing comes. So if we do nothing, then nothing will happen. Was it Albert Einstein's, his definition of insanity was doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's his definition of insanity. What are we doing here today, Tasha, in our country? What is it?
Nothing much is going on here, Dean. I mean, there is a little bit of this. It's not really much pushback.
Exactly.
I think, yeah,
so
you're
if
right.
you just carry on the way you are, expecting a different result, nothing is going to change. That's the basic principle of science. A repeatable, verifiable test that comes back with the same result every time tells you there's no point testing for it again and again, because you know you're going to get the same result. We're doing that in our society. We are the test subjects. This is the laboratory, our nation. And we are doing the same tests over and over again, expecting a different result as if that is the answer. Clearly, it is not. Another test is needed, or another scientific procedure, or it needs to be done in order to make a change. You have to do something different. And when we talk about change, we are spoken to or spoken down to by those who are in leadership positions in this nation as if we are the ones in error and wrong. I don't see how that's the answer.
So would the change mean voting differently? Would the change mean getting onto the streets, protesting? How would the change come about? Because you're seeing a lot of protesting, but is it actually making a difference? Or is it bringing attention to the situation? Is it waking people up to think, hang on a minute, something needs to be done here?
I think the more it happens, if it does happen more regularly, and it puts people out, because obviously it will affect people getting to and fro their house, to jobs and all kinds of things. It will put it on their mind. The problem is our brains are designed in such a way, we work on autopilot. And if everything stays the same all the time, despite whatever the news says and whatever happens around you, we often, despite the reality of that being true, we ignore that and go on autopilot and go down a one-way path thinking, well, hey, let's just carry on as usual. So you get up in the morning, you drink your coffee, you drink your tea, whatever, you have your breakfast, you get out of bed and you get yourself changed and you go out and you go to work, and that's it. And you come back home and do the same thing you do every single day, usually, despite whatever has happened. The response is, oh, there is a responsibility here. I need to take action as a result of this. Usually it's just, hey, let's go autopilot. When people decide to actually do something and become motivated by it, it stops people on their autopilot route and think, okay, what's going on here? Because it disrupts the normal balance of life. So I think there is something to it to some degree.
I do like that, where we just need to just be awakened to this, because how we could just moved on to something else so quick. How can we not? This should have been like a whole month of protesting. Like,
yes.
How's it just moving on to the next thing? When will this stop?
It's almost like they're little distractions, aren't they? What if sometimes things are orchestrated on purpose to distract us from what's really going on? That's how a magician works. They get you looking at the big thing, and the little thing is going on behind the scenes that makes it seem like a trick. and they get away with it.
That's so
People
true,
believe
Steve.
it. Yeah. And I think that
That's
does
so
happen
true.
in society.
I mean, they could be passing little bills through Parliament that we don't know of, and then once we sort of come back to, oh, that's been passed through. How did that
Yeah,
get in? Do you get what I mean?
exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's what they want you to be looking at, the big events, so they can push
Yeah.
in their little
Yeah, that's
things
it.
that they're doing on the side.
The real intent was what was behind the back, not what's in front of. This is just to look good. Yeah. Watch me, watch me, watch me. Yeah. Meanwhile, you're doing something behind your back. And I think that happens a lot in society. We don't really realize what's going on half the time. We get distracted by everything, and it's on purpose, I think, a lot of the time. Yeah.
I'm fighting for the cause of justice.
Yeah.
I want balanced scales that are evenly balanced, not based on colour and skin colour. It's just what is right and what is wrong. That's it.
Yeah.
Who would have thought this, Dean, in the United Kingdom right now? Who would have thought that this nation would be the way it is, the way it's postured right now? I would never in a million years think I'd be sitting here talking about the events, what's going on our streets in the UK.
Yeah.
You know, the riots in Belfast.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dean. You know, because people are so angry, burning up cars because of anger.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing right about that. No one should do that. Don't get me wrong. But I understand the reason why, to act upon it. And as a result, these people have, unfortunately, had a very unfortunate circumstance happen to them. And that isn't right. And that isn't okay. But it is understandable as a result of neglect, as a result of being not listened to.
And I'm going to put this up here. This is what we need. It says they want us to hate each other, but don't let them win. Black, white, human. Just as you were saying, we're human beings. Because I do think they want this race war. They want a civil war. So that if you give them this, if you go out there and give them that, they will have more power, more control over lives in this country. That's my thing on it. I do think that's what they want.
Yeah.
That's the end game,
Well,
control. Thinking, well, where is our part as Christians? Because we're Christians. So where does the Christians play their part in this hour, in this time? You know, I know you say we can pray, but you'll find that majority of Christians don't talk about this. They don't want to get involved in things like this. And look at things of the truth.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's
the truth is what the truth is. So what would a Christian stance be on this? Like,
often spoke in such a way that was very harsh and truthful. And the things he called people sometimes weren't even that nice. I mean, this is a man who whipped people with a whip out of the temple twice. Not once, twice. In anger, injustice of it all, a righteous anger, because they turned the place that's meant to worship and honor God into a den of thieves and robbers, trying to make money and scoundrel every penny off of everybody. As a result, that's the real Jesus. I mean, when we read in the Bible about him being the Lamb, the scripture also says that when he returns back, he'll be coming back as a lion. So there's the lion and the lamb. There's two sides to Jesus. We've seen the grace side, we've seen the love side, but there is an angry side. There is an injustice that makes him have a holy anger and wrath. And that's the Jesus coming back. Our job is to tell people about this, and people realize, that we're all in error, we're all sinful, and we've all done wrong, and we're all unjust, and we need a just God to forgive us our sins, and we need to follow his ways and be obedient to him and his commands. And that isn't just in the realm of prayer, but there is a practical notion to that, in the sense of we can go out and we can talk to people. We can be a voice in the wilderness crying out, prepare ye the way of the Lord. We can be the ones that give people hope in a time of desperation. We can be a voice of sanity in a world of insane, a world that's insane. And I think that's our role, is to stand up, speak out, and direct people to the one true God who can save them and help them.
As Dean says, and he says all the time, watch and pray. Just keep praying. Just keep praying, because God will intervene. He will hear our cries. I was reading the other day, Dean, with Pharaoh, and it says, when God said, I've come, because I've heard the cries of my people. I've watched the injustice. I've seen what the Pharaoh has done. And God is watching this, and that's what it reminds me of, Pharaoh.
Yeah.
But God heard the cries. He saw the injustice, and he did something about it.
Yeah.
He did.
And then
he
came the
stepped in.
breakthrough.
Came the breakthrough
eventually.
And there will be a breakthrough. There will be a breakthrough in all this.
Always hope. There is always hope. I think that things are changing. Yes, there are things happening bad, but there's also signs of hope at the same time. People taking back their rights. To quote Bob Marley, get up, stand up for your rights. I think that's one thing we need to do. And he was disliked at the time for his music. One man even shot him at one point because of it. The sort of things that he spoke of like that, I think, are still relevant to this day, if not more than ever, actually, because a lot of our rights have been eroded and taken away on the guise or the idea of, for our own safety, which isn't necessarily always true. Because if that was the case, we'd live in a really safe society, and we don't. The evidence is there on that one. But the fact that people are waking up to things, and they're starting to protest, and they're starting to talk, and I think I'd like to think that people are getting together and banding together and making something out of it. And I think when you realize you're not on your own in this situation, you're not in a storm in a boat on your own. There are other people going through it with you along the way, and there are things we can do to navigate around these storms. You just need a right captain, and I would argue that's Jesus. So that's why I always say, watch and pray.
Nicely said, Dean. I'm just going to leave it right there, because it is literally watch and pray. And guys, remember to hit the like, share and subscribe button, and we will be back another month. And I tell you this, it will be something else. It will be something else that happens. It'll probably be worse than this.
Yeah, probably.
Not,
I mean, how can that be? But yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
We say all the time, it's always changing. It's something is always happening.
Yeah.
So this is What in the World, and that is Dean, and this is Tash, and thank you for joining us on What in the World. God bless you all. Bye.